everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Friday everywhere. How's it going, everybody?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, you know what? I have to start it off like this. It was yesterday going to opening day. Happy opening day to everybody who was out there and enjoying some baseball. I will say that it is likely the most attended day in all of sports. Uh,
I can see that.
football, I guess aside, you know what I mean. But I think that because everybody goes to football games, but now there's not as many. You have the Thursday game, now you have the Friday game, and then you got the Sunday and Mondays. So it's like, as far as the day goes, I look at opening day as likely the one day that has everybody, like every baseball diamond that's every stadium is filled to capacity, and they all
Yep.
go out for opening day.
Yeah,
And
no, opening day is always pretty cool. And it was funny because Rob actually sent me a message last night. He's like, hey, man, you want to go to the game? My neighbor gave me tickets, which is amazing. But my schedule doesn't work very well for last minute things. So I couldn't swing it. And then, I'm catching the highlights of the game because I didn't get to watch it. And the Mariners, like, true Mariners fashion, they did win. They actually do pretty well on opening day historically anyway. But they sure made it stressful.
Oh, I can imagine. You know who else was a big surprise that won? The Chicago White Sox.
They
They
won?
are undefeated.
How did that happen? Who'd they play?
The Angels. They
Uh,
smoked them 8-1.
oh, okay. All right.
Like that is a crazy, crazy thing. I I I mean, I love going to opening day, and usually, I mean, I love it when it's at home. Obviously, there are sometimes I haven't been able to go to opening day. This happened to be one where it was close enough so I can go to Washington and be a part of it. And
Oh, sure.
uh, it was uh, it was a tale of two games
Yeah.
in this one. The first half of this game, it wasn't until the fifth inning when either one of the pitchers were pitching, you know, not the minimum. Like it was
Oh,
like it was a one hitter on both sides, and then there was a double play, and then there was a stolen base by Kyle Schwarber. Listen, Kyle, I love you to death. You ain't a base stealer. Don't steal bases. Don't steal bases, Kyle. You are fat, Kyle. You are fat. I mean, I'm not calling you. You're pleasantly plump. You are not speedy. You are not speedy. Don't try
you
to
are
steal
chunky. I got it.
you you hit hoagies. That's what you do. You hit hoagies for home runs. That's what it is. That's what I wanted to see from you. Don't try to steal bases.
That
Uh,
is funny.
yeah, so that was kind of funny to me. But other than that, I our Phillies are in rare form because every batter on that team struck out at least once,
Wow.
and and
Okay.
thank God. I mean, JT Realmuto, um, four times swinging. His fifth at bat, a triple. So I will tell you that Washington's bullpen is going to be the death of them.
Mm.
But their pitcher was pitching lights out until he gave up. It wasn't back to back home runs, but it was back to back on the left-handers because it went
Oh,
left,
okay.
right, left. And Harper hit a home run, and then Schwarber hit a home run, but had um, Bohm in between them.
Gotcha.
And so it
Gotcha.
was, but yeah, it was. And then it's like they were going so quick. I thought this game was going to be over in 2 hours and like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Hmm.
And then the bullpens.
And then batting practice.
And 3.5 hours is what that game wound up going. I think three
Oh,
hours and 26 minutes in total.
okay.
Because it went to the 10th inning, and it was like, 3 hours and 9 minutes is what it went.
Wow.
So a game that I thought was going to be over at 6 wound up over at 7:30. And I don't know if you know about traffic in DC, but there's nothing better.
Yeah, well, I'm used to traffic in Seattle, which is a train wreck as well. So I get it, and that was one of the things that was also going to make it hard for you know going to the game last night. I mean, I couldn't go anyway, but the game would have got over at 10, and then I would have still had to try and drive an hour home. I was just like, man, there's just no way. Chad, happy 31st, man. Thanks for tuning in.
Nice. But so anyways, the Phillies did win this, and the Braves, the Mets, the Marlins all lost. So right now, we have a magic number of 158, which is exciting. People wonder why it's not 160, because obviously they've only played one game, but it's because every team has lost. It's only 158. If one of the other teams would have won, it would have been 160, but because everybody lost, it's 158. And I don't know how that math works, but it's just because we're 1-0 and everybody else is 0-1.
Yep.
158. So
I'm just glad. The only way you go with the M's started off with, and here comes the nonsense already. But no, I'm just glad that they, they came out one opening day. Again, historically, they do well on opening day. But, I mean, I don't know about all that. But, I like the optimism, Rob. And again, thanks for the invite. Sorry I couldn't make it. Talk about a stressful game.
Well, I mean, it was the Athletics, and they have the same problem that everybody else has, is no bullpen.
Yep.
So 3 runs in the 8th means that they didn't quit. Who scored those runs in the 8th? Let's see.
It was a
an Azarina home run and Polanco home run. How about that? So, 3 runs in the 8th.
Yep. That's right. It was the 8th. Yep.
But only giving up 2 runs in the entire game is also pretty good. I'm still peeling over here. I can't stand.
Yeah, no, I mean, when they went down 2-1 in the 8th, that's where you were like, the bats are the bats, right? So you're just like, well, we'll see. And then, they pop off for 3 runs, and that's how it wraps up. But as soon as they were down, I was like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, like I said, they didn't quit. They didn't quit. They kept going. You guys got 4 runs on 5 hits.
That is hilarious.
That's funny. See, those are the videos I want to see.
Right? That's amazing.
It's like, hey, let's see what happens in Seattle when the train can't go nowhere, and everybody's on it.
So when did you end up making it home, Rob?
So probably very similar to the time I made it home. I got home here after, like I said, it's in DC. Mm-hmm. Game starts at 4:05. It's 7:15. Then, as funny as that, he got home at midnight, so I got home a little earlier than that. So then we had to take a bus home. However, anybody who knows me and follows me a little bit knows that Santa Claus is a close friend of mine. And Santa sometimes doesn't know where he's at in a ballpark to be able to leave the ballpark and get out right where he needs to be. Santa does not pay attention sometimes.
Rob, you don't live far enough away for that to take 2 hours.
So I wound up I'm on the phone with Santa. I'm yelling at Santa. I'm like, Santa, you are on the exact opposite side. I don't need you to put a pin on where you are. I can't pick you up. Yeah. You got to start walking around. Walk around the stadium until you find everybody. I don't care which way to go. You're exactly halfway through the stadium. You got to go to the other side of the stadium to figure that all out. So imagine yelling at Santa. Now imagine feeling how you feel if you were yelling at Santa.
No, that's fair.
So actually there were these bikes. This is DC. So there's these bikes that are around there. And we're like, hey, listen, you know where Santa's at? Have you seen Santa? She's like, oh yeah, he's on the exact opposite side of the stadium. We're like, go get him. Here's money. Go get him and bring him back here.
That's funny.
So we were able to pick up Santa and not leave him stranded in DC. But that added an extra 45 minutes to our
Oh, I got you.
debacle. Yeah, because it was one of those games where in DC, uh, uh, baseball fans are not really that excited. You know what I mean? So seventh inning, you had that group that left, and then they tied it up in the eighth and ninth inning, and then it's like you had that group that left. It's like, oh, it's going into extra innings. I'm going to act like I'm going to beat traffic, but really, I just don't care if they win or lose.
Yeah. Our bats look like strikeout machines again. Yeah, well, it makes sense, Rob, because they didn't do anything to get better.
Hold on,
Their
let's
big
find out.
signing
Let's
was
find
one of our
out. Let's
guys.
find out who did better. Yeah, 11 Ks, 7 Ks. No. No. I want you to go to the score app and I want you to look at the box score and I want you to go to the Phillies and I want you to look at their stats and then I want you to go to the Ks and I want you to see what they show there. You have no idea what's a strikeout machine looks like.
I mean, we do because we watched it last year, but
you had 7 strikeouts in your game.
That's actually not bad.
We had 19.
Whew.
19 strikeouts. Literally, this is the whole starting lineup. Turner, 1 strikeout. He led off. Harper, 2 strikeouts. Bohm, 2 strikeouts. Schwarber, 1 strikeout. Real Muto, 4 times swinging. Kepler, 2 strikeouts. Castellanos, 1 strikeout.
He struck out 4 times?
Bryson Stott struck out 4 times.
Wow.
Brad Marsh
That's
struck out
rough.
4 times. Yeah, JT Realmuto, 4 times swinging. Brad Marsh, 4 times.
I mean, by the time you've struck out 3 times, lean in on a pitch. Take one for the team.
Well, it's like I was happy about the fact that his 5th at bat, he wound up hitting a triple. He wound up hitting one down the line and got a triple. So, and shout out to Betty's Triples. That's a charity for the kind of through the Phillies and the Fandemic crew up in 301. They donate $100 for every triple that the Phillies hit this year. So, actually, it was very funny. I watched a video on that, Joe, that says, hey, Soto has a very unique opportunity. There was 2 men on, 2 out, full counts. Took a really hideous swing at a pitch that was like way far outside and struck out to end the game. And that's how you guys won 3-1, I think it was. But he could have had a walk-off home run to lead off his, Mets. And the Mets guy immediately goes, yeah, season's over. Perfect. Just the way I want to hear it. Mets fans already in mid-season form. They know their Mets are going to Mets.
Right. It's already over. I mean, that was always the joke with the Mariners, right? As soon as the opposing team put up the first run, you're like, well, season's over.
But 19 strikeouts.
That's rough.
It was a tough day. I mean, like I said, 8 strikeouts between Marsh and Real Muto.
I mean, at least you still got the win, though.
Well, thank God we had a 4-run 10th inning. All scored with 2 outs. Well, can't call him a choker just yet. But
hey, if you're going to play bad, at least be expensive.
Exactly. And I think he's only, 700 and...
Oh, nice. Bought the Trident Cup. I like it. If you haven't seen that, it's a 32-ounce cup. So it's like this tall. And it's the Trident. And I think it's just for, pop, whatever. But, a 32-ounce beer in it would be awesome. But I don't think they do that.
And he's saying they make them into bongs.
I mean, that makes total sense because Seattle.
Why not?
Yep.
So, Rob, since you're here and we didn't get to do this yesterday,
Yep.
since the mushroom pizza, the gold flaked mushroom pizza is still going to happen when I see you guys. I know you're coming to Philly this year.
Yep.
We're going to. I think we should do like a mushroom Wonka bar. Right? Right? I mean, let's be for real. Let's get that moving in the right direction. Did Bo freeze on that? Like, is that what happened? Like, immediately it was like he started laughing at that and was
Yeah.
like, next thing you know, he's like frozen. We are banned now because of that statement alone.
Right? That was, as soon as you said that, it was just buffering wheels. I was like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, so let's do let's call it three mushroom Wonka bars or equivalent. I think that makes good sense there.
Good stuff.
Best record wins. Best record wins.
I mean, I feel like we need something for the series also, right?
We can talk about that closer to the time. We have till August on that.
Yeah,
one, so.
yeah. Because that was our one shining moment this last year, as we beat you guys in the series.
Exactly. Well, and the fact that I showed up there with the City Connect jersey that looked like your City Connect jersey, so the people had no idea. And then next thing I know, we also fed the whole city of Seattle with chicken.
Hey, shout out to those vendors though; they loaded that thing up.
Exactly, like the whole city of Seattle. The homeless problem almost got resolved that one day with chicken from the PSP's chicken. What's up, Troy? So, but yeah, it's it's going to be fun, and just make sure we know it's August 18th, 19th, 20th. So I would suggest going from like the 17th to the 21st, or if you guys want to stay longer, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, we'll probably stay.
If you want to come that weekend, if you want to do like a Friday night arrival for a Saturday and Sunday stay, and then we go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to the games.
Yeah, well, so something like that might happen. It'll also depend on if my wife wants to come, because then we might extend it a little bit more and actually explore the city a bit.
Well, that's what I'd say. I would get a room for you and your wife, and then I would put up Rob.
Yep.
So that you don't have to be in the same room with your wife and Rob.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be weird at all.
No, not even a little bit. We're all from Seattle, so I guess it makes sense. But see, the good part about where I live, Rob, is that I live above a bar.
Yes.
So it's when I don't watch TV at home, I just go down to the bar. So
yeah, I mean, when it's downstairs, like, why would you watch it at home?
Well, it's like I said. Now I just bought Amazon Prime, and I spent the extra $2.99 so that I do not have commercials.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah.
It's like, okay, I saved $40 because I buy it for the year. I'm not going to pay monthly. I don't want to pay monthly. So they give you a discount to do it for the year. And then, but they don't give you the discount for the $2.99 a month for the no ads.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like why not? Why couldn't I just spend $30 instead of $36?
Yeah. Why not just wrap it in there? Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, we buy so much crap from Amazon anyway. Like, we had Prime regardless because we wanted the free shipping.
That's right. Leia was there yesterday. She had her Delco shirt on. We were able to take a picture on the Delco shirt. I don't ever see you drink at Dolan's though, Leia. Next time, if you were here, you definitely gotta, come say hello. I mean, you might say hello, but maybe if I was too drunk already, I wouldn't know any better.
Well, see, that's what I was figuring. I was figuring you were just hammered, didn't remember.
See, I don't get hammered like that. Like I tell you, it's rare that I get drunk like that. I try to keep a good hey, this is what I'm doing, and I want to keep my head above, on my shoulders a little bit. However, that Uber sometimes coming up the steps is really tough.
Yeah,
You
I mean
know,
that makes sense. I
yeah.
feel like we do have to be there for the spaghetti dinner.
So yes, yes, but that happens on a Monday that we're going to be at the ballpark. So I'd have to maybe do a special serving of
Yeah.
spaghetti.
Well, we also have to take a look at if you guys do have one of your preseason games or something that following weekend, because maybe we come in for the games and then stay for.
That Thursday is the game where I kind of suspect there would be a game. It would be the 21st. And the
Okay.
reason why I suspect
Oh,
that
that's right.
is
It's Thursdays.
because the Phillies aren't playing that day. And then they have a home series. So my expectation is that Thursday is going to be a preseason game because there's not going to be the traffic down there.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So it's with the Phillies there, and then they're playing on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they're playing against Washington, which isn't a really big deal, but they typically don't want both going on at the same time. So they're going to schedule that. And because we have two preseason games at home, because we only have 8 games at home this season, my
Mm.
expectation is that the 21st will be a preseason game, and I can get us tickets for that. So if you guys wanted to do like a Friday to Friday, which would be the 15th to the 22nd, that would be cool. And then if actually the Phillies are playing in Washington that
Mm.
weekend. So if you guys wanted to take a ride down to DC, we could tour DC and then
I mean,
go
that
to
would
a
be
Phillies
fun.
game.
That would be fun. Yeah, no,
So
we'll definitely have to figure that out because that'd be a blast. Plus, get to be in check out both stadiums would be a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely gotta check that out.
yeah, and nobody cares that you're wearing Marlin stuff in Washington because yesterday I saw Met stuff, I saw Yankee stuff, I saw Pirate stuff, I saw the firefighter stuff and the bananas stuff. So it's, I mean, because now you have to include them. I mean, it's like
Oh
it's
yeah,
just different things, and a lot of Phillies, and then a lot of Washington. So it's like I would say there was not as much Phillies as I thought there would be. I think that there's a lot of Phillies people there, and there wasn't as many as I thought. Like I thought that there should have been more, but
that's surprising for opening night.
I no, because it's a 4 o'clock game.
Oh, okay.
So and thinking about that, like if you're not taking a day off from work, you're not going to the game.
No, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yours started way earlier than ours. So we had a 7 o'clock start time, I believe. So, and that was 7 o'clock West Coast. So that was the middle of the night for you guys.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock start time for you guys, but that's interesting too. Usually, opening day is not a night game. So, but I mean, we always start at 4 o'clock. I know that our opening weekend is our opening week 3:05, 6:45, 1:05.
Mm.
So, and then we play the Dodgers, and it's 6:45, 4:05, 1:35. Our Sunday games are usually 1:30 starts. So there.
Yeah, I like baseball, but I'm not checking it out at 2 a.m.
The Astros play today. See, usually today is one of those day offs, but I mean, I didn't check. Yeah, I guess there are some teams. Yeah, the Astros are playing today.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, and an evening game. So yeah, it'll be early for you, Joe, or late, depending on how it is you look at it.
Interestingly enough, you guys don't play a game on Sunday. It's weird.
Hmm.
That is kind of weird. You're not playing your first Sunday game. The Astros is what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right. Well, to each their own.
Yep.
So, but the Astros are 1-0. The Mariners are 1-0. You guys are fighting it out in the division already.
Perfect. Perfect. We could just keep this streak going. That'd be cool.
Hey, listen, you guys are fighting the A's, so anything is possible.
True.
I
True.
kind of feel that the Astros could possibly have a fumble today against the Mets.
Yeah, I mean the Mets are a solid team. Like that's probably actually why they're frustrating, right? Is when you look at them, they should be good, and then they just find ways to lose. That's why I always compare them to the Chargers, right? Like they can be good, but then they're just like, you know what? Let's just not.
Right. So
We understand we have the team, but we're just not going to put it together.
well, you know what? It's a matter of getting hot at the right time and stuff like that. And
For sure.
how do you create the heat at the end of a season? Like, how are you able to turn on the switch and do that? Now, last year the Dodgers won the bye
Yep.
and won the World Series.
Yep.
A couple years ago, the Astros won the bye and then won the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
But in between that, it has been won by like wild card teams and stuff like that. Teams that did not have the bye. Like when the Rangers won, they didn't have the bye, right? They had to play the wild card.
Correct. Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's like it's
Well, and I mean, if you wanted to see the other direction, the most epic meltdown was a Mariner team, right? With 115 wins, ready to break the record, ready to break the all-time record. 6 games to go, and they end up going 1-5 in those final 6 games to tie the record at 116, and then got absolutely smoked in the first round of the playoffs because they were just falling apart at the end of the season. Even though you had the all-time win record, one and done in the playoffs.
that's like a hockey thing. It's almost like a kiss of death to win the President's Cup by having the most points in the NHL. It's rare that if you get the most points in the NHL, that you win the Stanley Cup. I'm sure it happens, but
Sure.
not as frequently. It's very infrequent that happens. Like you win the President's Cup or you win the Stanley Cup, but you don't win both.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes me wonder. Same thing about the NBA. Like the NBA right now has 3 teams that could win a championship, and I think everybody else stinks.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a thought process of somebody who could possibly win the championship?
I mean, there's some teams that'll, if they got hot at the right time, maybe, right? But not an overwhelming favorite. Like if they were to win, it would be the underdog situation. The problem with OKC and Cleveland really is they're young, right? So there's a good chance that somebody gets them in the playoffs.
I'd agree with that, except because of what happened last year to OKC.
Yeah, well, and that's why I said, it did happen to him last year.
So I think this year, that's a grow up moment.
Yeah.
So now they've grown up.
Yeah, well, and you would think so, right? But at the same time, still a young team. It could still get them again. It took Jordan a few tries through the playoffs to finally get there. So I mean, like there's this. I mean, obviously, this OKC team is good, and I kind of just hope they fail because they stole our team. But but I think Cleveland can run into that same situation where they're a younger team, inexperience could get them in the playoffs.
Right. Well, and hey, what's up, Mac? Good to see you. Hope you're feeling better. Get better soon. Shows are not the same without you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, they got the MVP on OKC. He is just ridiculous this year. He's
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. He is going to run away with the MVP. If you're betting on MVP right now, I think he's a minus 700. It's only going to go higher. He's going to win the MVP. So
Yeah.
bet it. It's the closest thing that you can get to a sure bet.
Yep.
So say even if he was to get hurt right now, I don't think that anybody could do enough to overtake him. Not play another game for the last 7 games of the season.
Yeah.
And I think
No, I
that
can see that.
he would still win it. Which was interesting to me. I did see I didn't see it. I did see the I didn't see it. I saw the clip of it, obviously, in the morning. Lakers were on a back-to-back where LeBron James hit the game-winning shot. And it was funny because that spawned a couple of Michael Jordan videos that I watched this morning as well about him and game-winning shots. That, Michael Jordan, for as long as he played, only hit 28 game-winning shots.
Yeah.
7 of them were in the playoffs. So 25% of his game-winning shots were in the playoffs, which is kind of cool.
Mhm.
However, he never, ever beat the Celtics and Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
With Pippen, without Pippen. So everybody likes to talk about Michael Jordan. I was one of the best videos that I saw. I mean, you got all the accolades about Michael Jordan and how he was the defensive player of the year and the scoring guy and stuff like that and all these things. And when I think about how they voted for some of this stuff,
Mhm.
how much of the voting, and I'm not trying to start a whole battle here on that with Michael Jordan. What I am talking about is how many times do you think that he got voted in on something just because he was Michael Jordan and not because he absolutely earned it?
Man, I don't know. I mean, like
MVPs aside, I think MVPs you have to earn. You know what I mean?
you do.
It's like,
For sure. For sure. Especially because even when you probably should be an MVP yet again, voting tends to not do that. Because, I mean, Jordan probably could have won the MVP every year during that 6-year championship run. I mean, because he was over the top dominant, but he didn't, right?
I mean, but if you remember the year that he was out of basketball,
yeah,
he could have probably won that MVP not playing a game. I mean, let's be for real. I mean, it was who won the MVP when he was playing baseball? Does anybody remember?
No.
Exactly, because nobody stood up. I might have been the year Charles Barkley won it, I think, actually. It's as funny as that sounds. I think Charles Barkley won an MVP. But
yeah, I can't remember. But to be fair, I don't remember who won it 5 years ago either. So
yeah, I know. It was Giannis.
Okay.
That's who I think it was. Or if it wasn't Giannis, it was Luka.
Yeah. No, but that's my point, is it's like I don't actually remember who won it 5 years ago either. So I wouldn't put a lot into the fact that I don't remember who won it 30 years ago.
It just makes me wonder on when he got voted in on the first team defensive player of the year, like did he deserve all of them? Or was he voted in above some of these guys just because he was Michael Jordan?
He was a pretty elite defender. So, I mean, because he only won the defensive player of the year once, right? He was all defense, multiple times, but I think he only won defensive player of the year one time. So, so I would bet he earned that. Like he was all all defense, NBA, whatever, first team. I think like 5 times or 6 times or something like that. So I think you do have to kind of earn that, right? Because it's not like, to put it into football terms, it's not like you went to the Pro Bowl, right? You're talking the All Pro, or the All Pro ranking instead of the Pro Bowl. Because the Pro Bowl, you have guys like Huntley get in because people didn't want to go, but to be ranked All Pro, Like you got to earn that.
Right. You get first team All Pro, second team All Pro, third team All Pro. That's how this gets done. And
Exactly.
that's what makes me wonder if there was a couple times he would have been second team All Pro, but because he was
I,
Michael Jordan,
I
he got
think he
first team.
did. I think he did actually have one or two second team All Pro on defense.
Let me see, because
Or
obviously
All-NBA
this
or whatever
was
they call
Michael Jordan. Let's talk about this. I mean, because there were some other stats that I heard that were really kind of cool to hear. It was like he had more games in the playoffs of 40 points being scored than he did of only 20 points being scored.
it. Oh, I
You
believe
know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
So
even early in his career, when they couldn't get out of the first round, he was putting up points.
let's go. He was a 14-time All-Star, 10-time scoring champ, 6-time NBA champ. He was the All-Rookie, 9-time All-Defensive. He was the 87-88 Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, okay,
6-time
so
Finals
yeah.
MVP, 5 times Finals. Um, no, the 3-time All-Star MVP, Rookie of the Year, 11-time All NBA. So obviously, all that's with the Bulls. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he
and
didn't do anything with the Wizards.
well, and or Charlotte, and or like who else did he play for? I thought he played for. It was all Wizard stuff. Team USA. Okay, it's showing all is different. Anyways, so there. But like I said, he was 9 times all defensive.
Yeah.
Doesn't show second team, just showed first team. So it makes me wonder if there were times he got voted because he was just Michael Jordan, and that was that. I mean, I
I
know
mean,
he was a good.
it's
I'm not
it's possible.
questioning his greatness. You know what I mean? That's not this conversation.
No, for sure. And yeah, they didn't take the Pistons down. Um, he was a much more selfish player then. Also, he was still early in his career during that. So I mean, when you what are you doing, dog? When you look at the points he was putting up, he was still putting up points. He just didn't. They just didn't have a real team put together.
Right. So it's going to be. Like I said, I don't know. He can't have the argument really with LeBron. I don't think it's a fair argument. I think that LeBron plays differently than Michael Jordan does. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind of the difference I have with that. But I don't want to.
Well, I mean, like if you're looking at that debate anyway, I mean, yeah, they play the game differently. The game is different in general.
Right.
And
But that being said, it makes me wonder.
There's the
You have
duration factor. Like he's just played so much longer. He's gonna get some of those numbers.
Yeah, but then again, I think about let's how does
Joe, I got this middle finger floating around under the desk here for you. We do. They're called the Storm. We have a WNBA team. But yeah, sadly, OKC is who stole our Sonics. We do hope to get them back here in a couple of years.
do you think that there is anybody that is rooting for OKC at all in Seattle?
Sure, people that weren't here when the Sonics were here, right? Like I would bet that there's younger fans that are probably like, yay. Or there might even be some Sonics fans that are like, my team moved, but I'm still rooting for them. Like there might be some of those. No, I'm just messing with you, Joe. But yeah, no, I mean, any of us that were like actual Sonics fans, you're immediately like, yeah, I hope you never win a game. Especially because of how it happened. Because I mean, they bought the team and they made it sound like they were going to stay. And then as soon as they bought the team, they're like, yeah, we're out of here.
Yeah,
So,
I can't stand that when owners do that. That's like, oh yeah, we are so much better than.
well, and they tried to do it with the Seahawks. Ken Behring bought the team, and he tried to move them to L.A. He actually even drove all of the equipment and everything down. Um, and the league made him bring it all back and forced the sale. And then he stole the flag off the kingdom on his way out of town.
Say that again.
Yeah. So on top of the kingdom, we had a 5-story tall American flag. And on his way out of town, it went missing. So allegedly, I will say allegedly, so we don't get sued on the show. But the belief is that he stole it when he was leaving town.
The owner of the Sonics then moving.
Seahawks, the Seahawks. Yeah, no, the Sonics. Yeah, they sold the team. It sounded like the belief was they were going to stay, and then as soon as that transaction went through, I mean, the deal must have already been in the works as fast as it switched over to we're leaving for OKC.
Got you, but didn't they start off as New Orleans / OKC? Like they couldn't play the whole season there. And so it had to be something odd that
You're
occurred
right.
with
Yeah,
that.
like I think their stadium wasn't available yet, something like that. Like it was okay, we got the paperwork, let's go. And it's just like, oh, you dirty.
But when they sold the Seahawks, the big flag disappeared.
Yes. And I mean, and it is a big flag. Like it was literally 5 stories tall.
You know, it's funny. You say that, and I was driving somewhere, and I'm not sure where I was, but it was a monster American flag,
Sure.
and I'm like, made me wonder where is the largest American flag flying? As funny as that's a funny question to think about, but I'm like, that's a monster American flag because you saw that flag, and then real close to it, there was another flag that was flying.
It was like,
And it was a big flag, but it was not anywhere near as big as this other flag. And I was just like, wow, that's
Well, and the thing that was funny was the Kingdom was such a massive building that the flag didn't look very big on top of it.
Got you. Yeah, it's just like, hey, and then how do you put that flag up? I mean, when it's 5 stories, that weighs a lot.
Oh, you know that was motorized, right? Like, there's no way anybody's sitting there with the chain fall.
I like watching an NFL game when you see the flags that are the entire length of the football field.
Yeah.
First off, they're not real flags. They have to be actually tied together and stuff like that, and that kind of snap together and stuff like that, so that when you see them touch the ground, like it's a whole real thing.
Yes.
So there is that's like a 2-story, 3-story flag. I know which flag you're talking about, and that's a monster flag because when it blows in the wind and there's not a lot of wind, it almost looks surreal on how it actually moves because it is so big and so heavy. You know what I mean? It's that's the kind of not very well unless there's a lot of wind. You know what I mean? If there's a lot of wind, even then it starts to whip around some because of the weight of the flag. But
okay, so here you go. The largest American flag is in Long Beach, California, dubbed the Super Flag. It is 225 feet by 505 feet and weighs 3,000 pounds. That is insane.
I got to imagine that never comes down. How high do they have to fly that in the air? Where is it flying exactly?
So it doesn't say that it actually flies. It says each star is 17 feet high and the stripes are 20 feet wide. It takes 500 volunteers to transport. That is insane.
And give the dimensions again.
225 feet by 505 feet.
So 225 feet, and it's what, 15 foot per story?
Yeah, well, if you figure if each star is, or if each stripe is 20 feet wide,
And each star is 17 feet. So you got 13 stories, really, that going at 20 foot.
it, well, that's what I was going to say is you are probably, you're probably like 15 stories tall, right? Because 20 feet would be a little bit too big for a story. So, I mean, you're going to be looking at 15, 16 stories tall. Like that is a massive flag.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, when was the last time it was flown? Does it say that?
No, it doesn't say that. It just gave you
Because
the.
that's not on a pole.
Oh God, no! It couldn't be, right? I
No,
mean,
that can't be on a pole. That has to be anchored to a building of some sort.
you would think so, like draped over the side.
Or I mean, like I'm trying to figure out like what they cover here. Like thinking about a football field, it can only be 360 feet long.
Hmm.
It's 55 yards across, so that's what, 165. So it's 165 by 330. That's a flag for a football field, covering an
Yes,
entire football field.
basically, yeah. It says that this flag has been to a Super Bowl, so that's my assumption.
Yeah, but even that, I'm just saying, it's not flown. It's never flown. This is one of those ones that are put together.
Oh,
So
it's
that's
basically
kind of what I mean.
got it.
I want to know the largest flag flying, because when you say that you had a 5-story flag, I mean that's 50 foot at least, or you're saying 5 stories, so I'm going by 15 foot at least. We'll call it 20 even. So it's 100 foot long by probably about 300 foot wide, I would say.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, 20 feet would be too tall for like a standard story. I think your standard story is like 12 feet, something
I
like
thought
that.
it was 15. I put it at 15, but it could be 12. So
So,
even so, it's 60. So it's 60 by, we'll call it 180, 200.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, even still massive, right?
There's only 2 people watching on mine. Everybody's on his feed. I know this flag thing is just so riveting stuff. It's so riveting.
I just always like the people that come in and they're like, "Oh, I got to say something dumb," and you're just like, you realize that still helps us get paid, right? You guys are watching, you're clicking, you're commenting. That's how we get paid. So whether you hate the show, love the show, doesn't matter. You help us out. So thanks for stopping by.
So there we go. And there you have it. You have some lovely parting gifts.
Uh,
Anyways, yeah. So, but yeah, I will get down to the bottom of the largest flag thing.
all-star topic right here. Puns intended.
So,
Oh man.
but yeah, that being said, Michael Jordan, I don't believe was, I don't believe he deserved all 9. Just my opinion.
Oh, here you go. There we go. World's largest free flying flag. Sheboygan, Wisconsin. 70 feet by 140, 400-foot flagpole.
Now that makes sense. That makes sense because, listen, even you got to think about the worst wind imaginable hitting that flag,
Exactly.
and what it's going to do to the pole.
Sure.
I mean, that's really what that comes down to, is the pole going to be able to make it?
I mean, that pole would basically have to be one of the bases for like the electric windmills, right? Like it would have to be one of those just massive.
100%. I would agree. I would say that's the base of that pole, and even probably going up. It tapers probably very slowly at like a few degrees. That the top of that pole would still have to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4 or 5, you know, foot around. Like
Oh,
you're not.
Yeah,
maybe more. Like I'm thinking about like the girth on that type of pole is still going to be pretty thick to be able to get down because it's going to be coming down to a certain degree. This is where my you know my engineering skills come in.
like it would have to be right, and then it'd also have to have sheeting inside it to withstand some of the higher gusts. I mean, the engineering of something that big would be kind of interesting to see, actually.
Exactly. Like how did they think about that and where does that kind of go? And just because it's like when you get the 80-mile-per-hour winds. Like I'm just that's not even crazy. It's just like 80-mile-per-hour, especially in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. I got to imagine.
I mean,
Maybe
really,
I could drive past it. I might be able to.
everywhere gets storms where you get gusts up to that. Like
Hold
that, I
on
don't
now.
think there's a spot in the U.S. that doesn't. And Joe, like, I'm not even mad when people come in and do it. They don't get that they're helping us out anyway.
Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Now I got to see it. Is it in the neighborhood of Green Bay? Could I go to this? And this is right on the lake, by the way.
Okay.
This
All right.
Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Which means it
And
gets some pretty wicked weather through there.
that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like, and Green Bay, I could drive past this.
Nice.
I am going to take a picture of it. Sheboygan, Wisconsin is right up on 43. Interestingly enough, the next town that I would pass past Sheboygan is called Cleveland, Wisconsin.
Hmm.
But 43 goes right into Green Bay.
Nice.
So I am absolutely because
You're gonna
you get 43.
the biggest flag, maybe get the biggest ball of twine. Really live it up.
It's well, and on top of that, it's actually it drives along the coast of Lake Michigan. So that's the other kind of cool thing. So yeah, I'm going. We're gonna go see that flag fly.
I like it.
May have to do a report from there and have something be like, so I'm here at the largest flying flag.
Exactly.
Philly sports guy reporting.
So on a minor football note before we get out of here today is it sounds like the Patriots are taking a real look at bringing Lockett in. So now that they have Diggs, now they're looking at a sure-handed, shorter route kind of guy, which is essentially what Lockett, is at this point in his career. They can get him cheap, and I actually kind of like that for the Patriots if they were able to pick him up.
Well, since I know that you're a Lockett fan, but
well, again, just because he's a very sure-handed guy and you can get him cheap, it makes a lot of sense to me.
That's interesting. That's an interesting thing. It's there was a story here as I'm looking at the stories from the NFL. Deion Sanders. I'll be happy wherever Shedeur gets drafted.
Really? Because he sure made a big thing about there's some organizations I won't let him play for. And you have to imagine with the number 2 pick, the Browns was probably on that list. Like if there was ever a couple of teams that you're like, man, if I could get my kid to not play there because they ruin quarterbacks, I'd be looking at the Browns and the Jets. And the Browns sit number 2, which they need a quarterback again. I wouldn't rule them out as looking at him. So I'll be curious to see if his dad still weighs in and tries to Eli Manning this thing to get him away from the Browns.
A little bit. And here's something really interesting. It just kind of caught my eye. The NFL is adding the nose wipe celebration to its list of actions that will result in a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Yeah, Chris mentioned that yesterday. We didn't touch on it, but interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting one to add. Like who cares?
Well, it says it's like for gang activity that this is what gangs do. Right. So instead of doing the whole, hey, they're not doing any of that.
Yeah, but that one makes sense, right? Just like they don't want you to do the guns. They don't, nothing like that. The nose wipe thing, I'm just like, I mean, whatever. Like,
yeah, it's a little bit odd, but okay, it is what it is. It's yeah, it seemed odd for that, but I guess if it's going with gang mentality, they want to try to deter that, I guess. But I mean, it's just like, hold on, I got a booger, I got to wipe my nose after a touchdown. Now 15 yards, it's
bring the laundry out. Yeah, no. Well, and that's the other thing. Like, if you were actually picking your nose, maybe I could get that. They're like, man, don't put that on the ball. But I mean, you're not actually, there's this whole face mask that's kind of in your way for that.
right. I mean, pretty soon we're going to be like, can't do this anymore either because that's we
right.
can't see what you really mean when you do this.
That's the we made the rules so that you can celebrate however you want, but you better not celebrate.
No fun. The no fun league.
I mean, it always goes back and forth, right? Like they start to let them do stuff and then they take it away and then it works its way back and then they take it away again. It's it's pretty dumb. Alluded to Coke. I mean, maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I thought that too, but that's not if you're doing that. Yeah. You're not doing that. You're doing that.
Yeah,
something like that. It's not. It's the wrong thing. Like I said, a nose wipe seems like going like that or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't know gang culture, so
yeah.
But on that note, this has been such a riveting show for the end of the week.
Yeah, it went a weird way, but I hope everybody had a great opening day with their baseball team. And other than that, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Otherwise, we'll see y'all next week. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Later, guys.
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports,